Hey, how's it going, guys? Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Roman Puga, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through my boxing workout. So, first things first, we have here, I'm putting on my long sleeve socks. I prefer my high top socks actually because it holds the sweat more, so that way when I put the boxing boots on, the sweat isn't going too much instead of the boxing shoes. Kind of preserves the life of my boxing shoes more as compared to using short socks. Shout out to Dominic Valerio here. He's actually the owner of this boxing gym. It's actually a slash pool services that he has. It's his own business. I actually met Dominic Valerio at the Wildcard Boxing Club. I met him and his son. Shout out to his son as well, Justin Valerio, who's getting ready to compete for the USA Olympics. He's getting ready for the USA boxing team. He's going to be competing for the US trials very soon. So shout out to him and best of luck. Alright guys, so right here I'm just getting ready to jump some rope inside the boxing ring. As you can see, alongside you see all the belts hung up. Those are actually his boys' boxing belts. They've been boxing for a very long time. So yeah, here's just a warm-up. I do about maybe 10 to 15 minutes or 3 to 4 rounds jumping rope, getting my body loose, getting it ready before I begin to get my full boxing workout in. This is a good way for boxers just to get a full body, get your heart pumping, wake up the legs, wake up the arms, and get a good sweat before you begin actually training and working on your boxing skills, throwing your punches. Here now I'm pumped up and ready to start throwing some hands, working on my technique. Wrapping my hands, getting it ready to I usually like to wrap my hands after I'm done jumping rope, only because I feel like my hands are a little bit more free. It allows my wrists to loosen up more while jumping rope, and then I prefer to wrap my hands up. I use the traditional Mexican gauze wraps for boxing, and then when I'm done wrapping my hands with the Mexican gauze, I'll go ahead and go over it with the tape as well. I prefer using tape just to help with additional wrist support. I make sure I get about 3 to 4 inches from the bend of the wrist and the hand down towards my forearm. And make sure I get around the thumb as well. I'll cross hatch alongside the back side of my hand, and just to make sure I don't hurt my hands when I'm hitting the heavy bags. So the main thing when you're shadowboxing, guys, is you want to make sure that you're visualizing your opponent. Your punches shouldn't be stiff. You should feel kind of relaxed, and you want to make sure you're visualizing your opponent reacting. If you throw a jab, either he eats the jab or he parries the jab, or he catches it, and your response is going to be, okay, how am I going to outwit my opponent? So that's like that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm aiming for when I'm shadowboxing. It's a lot of repetition, staying loose. I'm not trying to stiff my punches, just trying to stay nice and relaxed. Use my footwork, my angles, my head movement. I'm trying to visualize like an actual fight while I'm shadowboxing. That's the only way I'm going to have effective shadowboxing, and that's the only way I'm going to be able to better my boxing skills. You don't want to punch effortlessly and just kind of, okay, I'm warming up. You don't want to have that warm-up mentality, especially if you're looking to compete. Me, I used to fight. Right now, I'm just trying to stay in shape, but it just became second nature to me. So it kind of just sticks with me throughout my my training, even if I'm just training for fun and having using as a hobby. So the main idea here when you're hitting the heavy bag, there's different ways. Everyone has different techniques and different preferences when they're hitting the heavy bag. If you want to blast a bag all day, go ahead. Me, right now, I'm just working on a lot of placement. Keeping my combinations flowing, getting a workout in. I have days where I'll focus just on strictly combination. I'll have days where I'll focus strictly on power. I'll have days where I mix it up. I make sure I get my angles, my footwork in there as well. As you can tell, I really like my body shots. I was actually supposed to fight again, November 5th actually. However, I had to withdraw from the fight just due to personal circumstances, getting a little older and different responsibilities begin to kick in, so that just comes with the territory, I had an extensive amateur career. For those of you who don't know, I fought as an amateur in mixed martial arts. I fought as an amateur in boxing, and I competed in a lot of jiu-jitsu competitions. I was actually supposed to do a couple of kickboxing fights as well, but my opponents, one of them pulled out literally before the fight, and a couple of them didn't show up to the weigh-ins. And one fight, I was actually injured, so I had to withdraw as well. My amateur MMA record was 7 wins, 2 losses. My amateur boxing record was 12 wins, 3 losses. I actually won Golden Gloves as a novice for boxing, and I competed in Golden Gloves Open as well, twice. Came runner-up though. Then I went pro in boxing, and actually MMA first, and then boxing. Another thing you guys want to keep in mind is whenever you're training on the heavy bag, you want to make sure that you're visualizing everything. You don't try to kill the bag, focus on your technique, pretend like you're in somewhat of an actual fight, react to your opponent coming back at you. You have to make sure your hands are up, pretend someone's throwing punches back at you, and every shot you're opening up for the next shot. As I mentioned earlier, you can tell it's just a lot of placement. I'm not looking to kill the bag. I'm not trying to punch the bag. I'm not trying to break it down. It's a lot of placement. A lot of placement punches. Having fun, getting a good workout in, and making sure that my punches are loose, that I feel loose, so that when I do go back to sparring, I'm not stiffing my shots. I'm not telegraphing my punches. My opponent or my sparring partner isn't able to see my telegraph. I want to stay nice and relax. Alright, now I'm going to be hitting the speed bag actually. Took off my gloves and to the speed bag. So I did about I usually do about 4 to 6 rounds on the heavy bags. Mix it up, maybe 4 rounds on the heavy bag and then 2 rounds on the uppercut bag. And then I go into 3 to 4 rounds with the speed bag. Okay, like you guys see here, I'm pop shopping. I was pocking my shots. I don't know the exact verbiage for it, but pretty much Juan Manuel Marquez, he's known for doing that. He times the heavy bag and boom, 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 or speed bag rather, and then he hits it. And for me, that works on my timing, that works on my placement, and yeah, I mean, being able to hit the speed bag when it's kind of like in a punch variation, it just gets your timing down better. I like to have fun with it. Just be careful when you guys do this. You want to make sure that you don't hit your knuckles and bust them along the board. So be careful. If you're a beginner, just do it slow. Don't be an overachiever when you first start. Protect your hands. Protect your knuckles. You don't want to get injured. Alright guys, thank you for coming to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button, and don't forget to keep an update or stay up to date with the new videos I'll be posting soon. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of this video.